Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all folks in between, and welcome to another episode of Aunt Millicent's Cooking Show. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing okay. Today's episode is actually by request. You can request recipes if you like. I'll do my best to make what you like. Chances are pretty good if I don't know how to make it, I can look it up. I have this thing called the internet, and I just let my fingers do the walking, and I can figure out almost anything. So anyway, we're going to be making classic lasagna today by request, okay? So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and apron up, and let's get started. Okay, y'all, let's get the ingredients going. Obviously, the first thing you're going to need is lasagna noodles. You can get the instant ones or the ones you have to boil in advance. It doesn't make any difference, really. And obviously, the next thing we're going to need is something to put in it. I've got a pound of ground beef. You can put a pound of ground Italian sausage in it, whichever your preference is. We're also going to need a jar of spaghetti sauce. Pick your favorite. This is tomato and basil. Works perfectly. And to go in the sauce, a nice onion. About, I'd probably say a tablespoon of garlic. Gotta have that flavor, okay? And then to go in the cheese, we got lots of cheeses. First is some Parmesan. This is about 16 ounces, I think. So just get one of these and we'll use it either in it or on top of it. And then we have ricotta. And we only need about 16 ounces. We got the large one for some reason. But there you go. Okay, so this is gonna be ricotta cheese. And then you're going to need some mozzarella. If you get the pre-shredded, it's perfectly okay, but the whole milk is very delicious, and it gives you that sticky Italian, gooey, pulley, stringy kind of cheese thing going. So that's what you want. Use that. You're going to need an egg for the ricotta filler. Okay, so put one egg in there. And then last but not least, we're going to put some oregano on top of it. So this is your one true Italian season. So without further ado, let's get a cooking. And most of this lasagna is hurry up and wait. It's going to be stovetop and then wait. Just in a general hint, you probably want to go ahead and warm up your oven to 375. We're going to bake the lasagna, and then you get yourself a pot of boiling water if you need to prepare your noodles. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we are doing the very first thing we got to do, and we need to get our lasagna noodles going. Okay, so I need you to read your box. Whatever you got on there, go ahead and prep it. They have lasagna that you actually don't have to boil or prep in advance. You just put it in the lasagna pan and you're in good shape. But this is not what I have. I have this kind right here that you have to boil. So this is just like normal pasta. So all you have to do is put it in a nice pot and boil it for about 10 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started. And I started this pot just pretty much before I started this video. So I need 6. So, and lasagna is like making a big cake. So you have layers. Okay. So this is one of the layers that we start with for lasagna, okay? So I want to let that boil for about 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to go ahead and start our filler, okay? Okay, while we have that going, we're going to make our filler. This is going to be kind of like spaghetti sauce. So if you're familiar with spaghetti sauce, this is really easy. So I'm going to put the ground beef in. It's already hot. Make sure you get yourself a nice big pot or pan to cook it in. And I'm going to split it up a little bit. And I made spaghetti and meatballs before, and various other things that use ground beef. You've seen this before, okay? That looks like a pretty good start. And while we have that going, I took the liberty of dicing that onion. We've actually diced onions on this show a million times. If you don't know how to dice an onion, just go find the one where I diced one, okay? And that's going to go in. And then I'm going to grab about roughly a tablespoon of garlic. And that's going to make that Italian zing flavor, okay? There we go. So stir that up real good and cook it, and it'll turn kind of brown. You want the onions to be nice and done, clear, translucent. And then I'll be back. Okay, y'all, now that we have the hamburger or the ground beef nice and brown, or the ground pork or the ground Italian sausage, whatever you have. Get it good and brown. And now we're going to add the spaghetti sauce, okay? So just let her rip. You can add more if you want. I've discovered that one can or one jar is usually plenty. Okay, so just turn your heat down a little bit and let that warm up. This is one of the layers. So one of the layers is the lasagna noodles. This is the second layer, and you're not going to believe this. There's a third layer. Okay, so we're going to make that too. All right. So actually, there's a fourth layer if you really think about it, but I try not to think too much. So warm this up and get it to a nice little temperature and leave it, and we'll come back to it. Okay, and we'll use it. Okay, y'all. Now we have to start our third layer, and to do that, I need you to grab your ricotta. Now this is more than enough. We got a little too enthusiastic on ricotta, and you know you never can have too much ricotta. But I'm going to add about half of this to a bowl. So grab yourself a nice big bowl and add about half of it. Okay. And oh, the ricotta is just so nice. It's just a wonderful little creamy texture. And that looks pretty good. And if you add too much, I think we'll be okay. All right. So the next thing you're going to have to do is grab that egg. Make sure it's a chicken egg. And let's put that directly in there. Okay. There we go. And then the last part of this is Parmesan. So we need 1/4 of a cup roughly. If you put more in there, like I just did, it's perfectly okay. We're making lasagna, guys. It's not, you know, it's supposed to be creamy and cheesy and everything else you could think of, okay? So I want you to stir that up. Make sure you break the egg yolk and get it nice and blended in that, okay? So that's going to be our third level, okay? So I'll do that and I'll be back. Okay, believe it or not, we're almost done with the prep. But really the fourth layer, grab your mozzarella. We grabbed a block of mozzarella. We love this fresh mozzarella. You don't have to do this, okay? So if you want to get just a pack that's pre-shredded, that's perfectly fine, okay? And you don't have to do this step. So since I bought the block, I have to shred it. So I'm going to shred my mozzarella. If you do buy the block, you will find that mozzarella is sometimes difficult to shred. It's a very milky cheese and it kind of disintegrates on you. So here's a little helpful hint. Put it in the freezer just a couple minutes or, you know, a little bit before you're going to shred it. It'll stiffen it up. And look, well, I don't know how well you can see it, but it shreds pretty good. So I'm going to shred my mozzarella, and this is going to be my next layer. Okay, when I'm done with that, we're going to start an assembly line, and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, all the elements of lasagna are now in order. So get yourself a nice baking pan. This is, I think it's 9 by 9 by about 3. You can do larger as long as it's somewhere in this neighborhood. You can see what I have. Okay, so find something comparable to that. Okay, so the first thing I always do is I take my beef or my spaghetti sauce and I put a layer here at the bottom. This is going to keep the noodles from sticking on the bottom. So this just comes up when you dip into this. And when you dip into this, you usually want to dip in with a spatula or some sort. Pull it out as a stack. Okay. All right, like that at the bottom. Okay. So now I'm going to start grabbing my noodles. And they're done. They're nice and wiggly now. And I'm going to layer them in here, kind of like this. Excuse me. And the noodles themselves are a little too long for the pan. So all I do is just fold them over, and you can just make them fit, okay? So I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay, now we're ready to start. So the way it goes is you put your spaghetti sauce layer, then you put your ricotta level, and then you put your mozzarella level, and repeat. And I don't have enough stuff to do this a million times, just like a couple of times. So let's just go through it once. Oh, goodness. I'll just jump over there. There we go. So this layer is going to go on top of that. I know we just put one on the bottom, but again, that's the don't stick layer, okay? And you should have plenty to go in there. If you don't, you can add some more spaghetti sauce and stretch it. You know, sometimes we have leftover. Depends on how much beef you use or how much Italian sausage you use. You can have a little leftover there, okay? So there you go. That's one layer. Now grab your ricotta, and this is the best layer right here, y'all. This layer here is going to go in just like this, okay? And you're going to make a layer between the two. The next two here. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying, but I'll get it out in a minute. You're just going to make a layer here, and you can blend it in a little with the bottom if you feel like it. Okay. There we go. Make sure you leave enough for. Well, I had two on the mind. Is you're going to have two of these layers, so split the amount you have between two layers. Okay. So there you go. And so what we have here is this. Okay. Now, technically, I guess the fourth layer is your mozzarella. So I've got all my shredded, delicious, creamy, milky, fresh, I already said fresh, mozzarella right here, okay? And it's going to go on the next layer. Excuse me. Make it thick, okay? If you get like real mozzarella and none of the processed stuff, I promise you it'll make a huge difference in taste. And those of you who know what real mozzarella tastes like, you know, okay? Am I right? Okay, that's it for now. So now we repeat the layers, okay? So let me, I'm going to find my noodles again. So my noodles go back in for the next layer, and you can make them the same direction or crisscross them. Okay. Whoops, they're slippery. There we go. Okay, so that went right on top of my mozzarella. So from here on out, I'm going to repeat that. So we're going to go sauce, ricotta, mozzarella. When you get to the top of it, I'll come right back. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I have managed to put every last bit of that block of mozzarella in this. It's very tall. You can see like from the geologic layers in here. So the next step is, since this is cheesy lasagna, you can add some Parmesan on top if you feel like it, totally optional. And then after that, we're going to sprinkle some oregano. And when this oregano hits your nose and it starts cooking, oh my gosh, it smells so good, okay? And then speaking of cooking, you should have already preheated your oven, if you didn't, to 375. So preheat if you haven't. And when it preheats, we're going to shove this in. We're going to cook it for about 35 to 40 minutes. Check it about 35 and pull it out if you think it's done. Otherwise, wait till about 40, okay? So I want to cook this in my stove, and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, it's about 40 minutes later, and there you go. Look at that lasagna. Who wouldn't want to tear into that? I know I certainly would. So I'll meet you in the dining room in just a minute. Okay, y'all, we made it to the dining room, and I hope you enjoyed making lasagna with me. I want to try it. It's very hot. I didn't know it's good. I have made this like so many times. That authentic cheese gives you that, you know, stringy stuff. And it's another winner. So again, if you want to substitute the beef for Italian sausage, you could do that. You could probably just leave it out. I imagine there's some vegetable you can put in there. You may want to ask your vegetarian friends. So anyway, thank you for joining me again. And I hope you enjoy your lasagna. And once again, bon appetit.